Don't just listen, transform. Apply Hill's teachings today using the first link in the description. 7 days. That's all it takes to change the course of a man's life. 7 days of discipline, obedience, and repeating a single ritual that reshapes how you think, speak, and act. Do it, and in 1 week, you won't recognize yourself. Refuse, and you'll remain in the same shadows, trapped in the same habits, chained to the same life, watching others pass you by. You might think change can't be that simple. You've been taught it takes years, that success is for the chosen few, that fortune comes by chance. But the truth is, destiny bends to repetition. 7 days of commanding your mind with purpose can achieve more than 7 years of aimless drifting. Imagine waking in 1 week with fire in your chest, doubt silenced, fear weakened, every thought aligned. People notice before you speak. Your step is firmer, your voice steadier, your presence magnetic. Opportunities appear, not because the world changed, but because you have. You look in the mirror and see a man who commands himself and, therefore, his circumstances. Now picture the opposite. 7 days pass, and you never committed. You listened but didn't act. You promised to start tomorrow, and tomorrow never came. Doubt still whispers. Fear still paralyzes. You walk into rooms unnoticed, your ideas unheard, your potential unclaimed. As days turn to months and months to years, you become one of those men who say, "If only I had started then." This is no small matter. The thoughts you repeat daily are writing your destiny. Left undirected, they write poverty, hesitation, mediocrity, regret. Directed with purpose, they write confidence, wealth, opportunity, freedom. The pen is in your hand. Every day you delay, you hand it back to fear. Carnegie repeated his aim until his mind accepted it as law, and steel obeyed him. Edison repeated his purpose until 10,000 failures couldn't erase it, and light was born. Ford repeated his vision of an automobile for the masses until ridicule fell silent, and the world rolled on wheels. Did they achieve without self-command? No. They forged their fortunes by the words they drilled into their minds. Now the choice is yours. 7 days. Will you test this law? If you do, you'll discover strength you thought you lacked, faith you thought impossible, and doors you thought closed. If you refuse, nothing changes. You'll drift another week, month, year, until your last chance is gone. The difference between the man who wins and the man who wastes is not luck, education, or talent, it's the words he speaks to himself daily. You cannot rise higher than your own command. You cannot outwork the chains of fear. If you repeat fear, you cannot build a fortune with the language of doubt. But if you obey this ritual for 7 days, you'll begin to write a new law upon your mind. 7 days. That's the test. That's the turning point. Repetition is the hammer that engraves thought into the subconscious. Every phrase, spoken aloud or silently, strikes a blow upon the anvil of your mind. One blow changes little, but constant striking shapes steel. So it is with thought. Repetition turns words into belief, belief into destiny. Most men don't know this. They think fate is written by chance when it's written by the words they repeat daily. They whisper fear when they wake, speak doubt when they fail, excuse themselves with alibis when opportunities come, rehearsing their own defeat until failure becomes habit. Why has fortune escaped you? Look to your words. Have you said, "I cannot, it's too late, I'm unlucky"? Each phrase burrowed into your subconscious until it became law. The subconscious doesn't argue or reason, it obeys. If you repeat weakness, it accepts weakness as your portion. Self-talk is the secret weapon that divides the drifter from the decisive. The drifter allows fear, doubt, and excuses to form his language. The decisive man commands his mind with purpose, repeating faith, courage, and persistence until they become his nature. Both use repetition, one for defeat, the other for triumph. Consider R.U. Darby. He and his uncle struck gold but quit when the vein disappeared. They sold their equipment to a junk dealer who persisted and found the gold just 3 feet away. Darby repeated hesitation over persistence, losing millions. Later, in insurance, he adopted persistence as his creed. Each time a prospect refused, he said, "I stopped 3 feet from gold once." I won't stop again. His new words became his new law, and his fortune followed. One man, two destinies. The difference was the words he repeated. Affirm this now, I speak success into my mind daily. I repeat confidence, courage, and wealth until they are mine. Say it again and again until it drives out fear, until the subconscious accepts it as fact. Repetition is the seed of faith, and faith is the seed of riches. Why does repetition hold such power? Because the subconscious cannot distinguish truth from falsehood. It accepts what is repeated with feeling. If you say, I am weak with conviction, it becomes true. If you say, I am strong with conviction, it becomes true. The subconscious is the soil, repetition the planting, belief the harvest. Men fail not from lack of opportunity but from repeating the wrong words daily. They repeat excuses until they believe them, doubts until courage dies, complaints until poverty becomes permanent. Success is not denied them, they deny it themselves through the language of defeat. Words are the chains that hold them captive. Choose your words with care. Guard them as you would gold, for they are worth more. Speak only what you desire to become: faith, courage, persistence, purpose. Refuse to let fear dwell on your lips. This is the foundation of the 7-day test. For 7 days, speak only the language of success. Repeat affirmations of courage and purpose morning and night. Guard your tongue from fear, doubt, and excuses. In 7 days, you'll feel the shift begin, for repetition will have begun its silent work upon your subconscious. Don't despise small beginnings. A seed planted today becomes a tree tomorrow. A single word spoken with faith grows into a habit, and a habit into character. Destiny is nothing more than character repeated until life bends. Character is nothing more than words planted in the subconscious. Affirm again, I speak success into my mind daily. I repeat confidence, courage, and wealth until they are mine. Repeat it when you rise, when you lie down, when fear whispers, until your mind accepts nothing else. Repetition is the law by which you rise or perish. If you neglect it, it won't neglect you. You're already repeating something each day: fear or faith, doubt or courage, drifting or purpose. There is no neutrality. The question is not whether you repeat, but what you repeat. Seize the weapon of repetition for 7 days. Use it deliberately. When you taste the first fruits of self-command, you'll understand why every millionaire, every leader, every man of destiny has mastered this secret. They spoke themselves into greatness before the world named them great. Every word is an order to the subconscious. It doesn't question or reason, it accepts and obeys. The drifter speaks surrender: I cannot. It's too late. I'm unlucky. He repeats these so often they become his truth, and his subconscious builds a life to match. The decisive man speaks with authority: I will. I demand. I command. He declares his aim until it burns in his heart and orders his actions. His subconscious shapes his world. Accordingly, Carnegie demanded purpose from his men, instructing them to repeat their aims until instinct guided them. His steel empire was built by men who spoke with authority, commanding themselves to build fortunes. Edison was called a failure thousands of times but repeated, I will succeed. I will find the way. I will not quit. His subconscious drove him until light was born. Ford ignored ridicule, repeating, I will build it. I will make it affordable. I will change the world. His mind obeyed, and the world rode on wheels. Affirm now, I am a man of faith. I command riches. I control my mind. Say it with authority, not as a timid suggestion, but as law. Each declaration strikes your subconscious with purpose. Words of weakness are poison, corroding the will, weakening imagination, enslaving the subconscious. A man may have talent, knowledge, and opportunity, yet fail because his words betray him. He says, I cannot, and he cannot. He says, it's impossible, and it becomes so. He says, I'll try, and trying becomes his grave. The devil captures men through their thoughts, whispering fear, doubt, and hesitation until they become their creed. But faith spoken daily casts him out. Say again, I am a man of faith. I command riches. I control my mind. Each word is a sword cutting through fear, weakening doubt, strengthening will. Write down your new words. Don't trust them to memory. Place them on paper, clear and definite. Read them morning and night. Speak them aloud with emotion. Words read are seeds, words spoken are commands, words repeated with faith are laws. You cannot drift if you speak purpose daily. The subconscious will drag you forward. It's the silent builder of destiny, taking orders without question. Feed it weakness, it builds weakness. Feed it strength, it builds strength. Feed it poverty, it builds poverty. Feed it riches, it builds riches. Carnegie knew this when choosing allies. He listened not only to their knowledge but to their words, knowing a man who speaks doubt infects others. He surrounded himself with men who repeated faith, purpose, and courage, creating an atmosphere of power that produced steel, wealth, and empires. You cannot afford careless words. Every time you say, "I'm tired, unlucky, weak," you command your subconscious to obey. Every time you say, "I'm strong, confident, destined for riches," you command wealth and confidence. Your life is the echo of your words. Test this law for 7 days. Replace doubt with faith, complaints with affirmations, hesitation with decision. Give your subconscious only the commands you desire it to obey. Watch your thoughts shift, courage grow, actions follow. In a week, you'll feel the change. Affirm again, I am a man of faith. I command riches. I control my mind. Say it as if infinite intelligence is listening, as if your victories await your command, until your heart believes, your subconscious obeys, and your actions prove it. This is the secret weapon of every millionaire. They rose by commanding themselves daily, repeating purpose until it became instinct. Carnegie, Edison, Ford, Lincoln, Rockefeller each commanded himself, and the world obeyed. The same weapon is in your hand. Use it for 7 days. Test it. Write your words, speak them, repeat them. Don't drift, excuse, or delay. Your subconscious awaits your orders. Speak riches, and it will build riches. Speak defeat, and it will build defeat. 7 days. Not a lifetime, not a year, just 7 days to take possession of your mind and prove destiny obeys repetition. The weak will laugh, saying, "How can so short a time change a life?" But 7 days of purpose will do more than 70 years of drifting. The trial is simple. Twice daily, upon rising and before sleep, speak your chosen affirmations aloud with emotion, as if you already possess what you declare. For 7 days, don't miss once, not for weariness, excuses, or any reason. Obedience is the price of proof. Begin tonight. Write your definite aim clearly. Choose affirmations that declare who you are, what you demand, what you'll become. Speak them with fire, persistence, until your voice rings with authority. This is the ritual of self-mastery. On the first day, your mind will resist, scoffing, "This is foolish." That's your subconscious, trained for years to obey fear and doubt. By the third day, doubt will rise, whispering, "This is useless." That's the devil striving to keep you drifting. Resist and continue. By the 5th day, you'll feel strength. Your affirmations will feel natural, hesitation weaker, courage stronger. By the 7th day, you'll feel transformation, doubt quieter, fear weaker, your step firmer, your voice steadier. Others will notice before you do. Consider Ford. His V8 engine was called impossible, yet he repeated, "Build it." He never wavered, and they built it. His wealth came not from genius but from repetition of a single command. Affirm, I persist until I succeed. I speak faith until fear flees, repeat these words morning and night, where your eyes can see them, whenever fear whispers. Persistence in repetition is your shield against drifting. This is the greatest battle, the battle with yourself. Most men are slaves to their thoughts, repeating whatever enters without question. Few command their thoughts. Those who do rise above the masses, for he who commands his mind commands his destiny. Your subconscious is a garden. For years, you've let weeds of fear and doubt grow unchecked. In 7 days, you begin pulling weeds and planting seeds of faith. At first, the weeds resist, but with persistence, new seeds grow, and fear withers. Excuses will come. I'm too tired, I'll do it later. Don't permit them. The devil whispers through excuses. If you yield once, the chain of discipline breaks. The law demands perfect obedience for 7 days. If you fail, begin again, but expect no results until you obey fully. You give hours to idleness and complaints, surely you can give minutes to your destiny. 7 days of discipline is the smallest price for the greatest reward. By the 7th day, you'll stand at a crossroads. Continue the ritual for 30 days, 90 days, a lifetime, or return to drifting. But once you've proven the law, you can never plead ignorance. You'll know repetition writes destiny, and your choice will exalt or condemn you. Affirm, I persist until I succeed. I speak faith until fear flees, say it until it echoes within you, until your subconscious trembles with obedience, until your actions prove it. Imagine a year of repetition, a decade of self-command. Imagine the fortunes you'd build, the fears you'd destroy, the identity you'd form. This is how millionaires are made, not by chance, but by commanding their minds daily. Fear is man's oldest enemy, attacking not with swords but whispers, repeating doubts, exaggerating dangers, suggesting retreat. Left unchallenged, these whispers grow until they control the man. Fear is not born of reality but of repetition. Every day, fear speaks, you'll fail. You're too late. Poverty will follow. Repeated daily, these become law, though they are lies. The drifter listens, repeating fear until it becomes his creed, hesitating at opportunity, submitting to mediocrity, drifting into obscurity. He blames chance, but he's enslaved himself by the words he allowed into his mind. The decisive man conquers fear by turning its weapon against it. He repeats faith, speaks courage, commands persistence. Where fear whispers, he answers aloud. Where doubt presses, he declares victory. He feeds faith, not fear, and fear becomes his servant. Consider Rockefeller. Ridiculed, mocked, hated, he ignored the crowd and repeated his aim to master oil. His faith was stronger than their laughter, and he triumphed. Affirm, I fear nothing. I master fear. I walk boldly toward destiny, speak it until your voice drowns fear's whispers, until your subconscious obeys. Fear wears 6 masks: poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, death. Each thrives only when repeated, but confronted with faith, they dissolve. The fear of poverty chains ambition, but many have risen from nothing to riches. Fear of criticism silences daring, but great men were ridiculed before respected. Fear of ill health produces sickness, but affirming strength creates vigor. Fear of loss of love poisons bonds, but faith in love strengthens them. Fear of old age robs usefulness, but affirming wisdom keeps men powerful. Fear of death wastes life, but affirming purpose lets you live fully. Affirm again, I fear nothing. I master fear. I walk boldly toward destiny, speak it as your shield, your sword, until fear flees. Confront fear aloud, name it, expose it, speak against it. When poverty whispers, declare, riches are mine. When criticism mocks, declare, I obey my purpose. When death presses, declare, I live fully. Guard your mind from fear as you would your home from thieves. Refuse words of weakness. Replace doubt with faith. Edison didn't fear failure, Ford didn't fear ridicule, Carnegie didn't fear poverty, Lincoln didn't fear criticism. Their greatness was courage repeated daily. Identity is forged by repetition. Each word spoken with faith chisels character. Day after day, thought becomes belief, belief becomes habit, habit becomes destiny. The drifter repeats excuses until he becomes them: I'm unlucky, weak, cursed. The decisive man repeats power until he becomes it: I am disciplined. I am courageous. I am destined for riches. At first, these words may feel strange, but with repetition, they mold to your soul. Edison repeated, I will succeed, until he became persistence. Lincoln repeated his aim to preserve the Union until it became his identity. Affirm, I am disciplined. I am courageous. I am destined for riches. Repeat it until it feels like fact. Identity is not fixed by fate but by words. The devil enslaves men by convincing them to repeat weakness. Faith breaks those chains by repeating a new identity. Rockefeller, Carnegie, Ford became what they repeated. Shape your identity deliberately. Write affirmations declaring who you'll become. Repeat them morning and night. Live as if they're true. In time, the world will see what you spoke in secret. The drifter scoffs, saying, "Words can't change me." Yet he's shaped by the words he repeats: self-pity, doubt, excuses. If words can make him weak, they can make him strong. The law is impartial. Timid men become bold, lazy men industrious, failures leaders, by changing their words. They write new affirmations, speak them daily, persist, and their subconscious reshapes them. Destiny obeys repetition. In 7 days, you plant the seed. In 30, you see growth. In 90, you're transformed. Kings, leaders, millionaires are built by repetition. They don't drift into greatness, they repeat it until it becomes their identity. Affirm, I am disciplined. I am courageous. I am destined for riches, say it until your voice no longer quivers, until your actions prove it. This is the law of identity through repetition, and it never fails. No man rises alone. Every fortune, empire, invention, movement is born of minds united in harmony, the mastermind principle. When two or more minds meet in faith and purpose, they create a third, greater mind, through which infinite intelligence speaks. Carnegie's wealth came from his mastermind group, not his genius alone. He surrounded himself with men of skill, knowledge, and courage. Their harmony bent the steel industry to their will. Ford aligned with Edison, Firestone, and others, exchanging ideas, reinforcing faith. Their fellowship repeated belief and vision, drawing inventions from the unseen. Affirm, I surround myself with minds of faith. I attract allies of courage. Together we rise, this command guides your subconscious to find the right companions and repel those who weaken you. Beware wrong associations. One negative voice can poison your alliance, corroding faith like rust on iron. Choose companions as carefully as surgeons, they hold your purpose as life. Men of promise are destroyed by envious, fearful company, but ordinary men are lifted by one ally of faith. One voice of courage can strengthen 10 weak hearts. Carnegie selected partners for harmony, knowing discord destroys power while unity multiplies it. Form your own mastermind. Seek one ally of faith, purpose, and courage. Meet often, share affirmations, encourage persistence. Two voices in harmony create a force that compels destiny. Affirm again, I surround myself with minds of faith. I attract allies of courage. Together we rise, repeat it until your subconscious draws such men to you, until your circle echoes your faith. Your circle decides your destiny. The drifter refuses alliance, believing himself independent, but he's weak. The decisive man seeks allies, builds harmony, multiplies power. No millionaire, leader, or inventor triumphed alone. They aligned with others, repeated purpose, and drew from infinite intelligence through harmony. Words and repetition alone aren't enough. The world doesn't yield to fleeting enthusiasm. Destiny is moved by persistence, repetition continued until it becomes law. Many begin with fire but fade when results don't appear instantly. They abandon affirmations, saying, "This doesn't work." Their failure is not in the law but in their persistence. The subconscious resists change, bound by years of old commands. Like water wearing away stone, affirmations engrave the mind through constant repetition. The man who persists becomes master, the man who quits becomes servant. Consider Darby again. He quit 3 feet from gold, failing not from ignorance but lack of persistence. In insurance, he transformed, saying, "I stopped once, but I'll never stop again." That repetition became his creed, and fortune followed. Lincoln endured countless failures but persisted in repeating his aim to serve his country. His persistence carried him to the presidency. The drifter speaks faith when strong but abandons it in adversity. The decisive man persists regardless of feeling, repeating faith when tired, discouraged, defeated, until the subconscious surrenders. Affirm, asterisk I persist in speaking faith. I persist until I succeed. I persist until destiny bends, asterisk say it daily, for life. Persistence is the proof of desire. If you abandon affirmations when doubt rises, you never truly desired victory. The devil fears persistence most, he's powerless against men who refuse to stop. Edison, Ford, Rockefeller triumphed through persistence in repeating their aims. The world surrenders to persistence. Persist beyond resistance, when results are unseen, when fear whispers, when critics laugh, when you doubt yourself. Persistence is a decision, not an emotion. Affirm, asterisk I persist in speaking faith. I persist until I succeed. I persist until destiny bends, asterisk make this your creed. Write it, speak it, live it, refuse to abandon it. Persistence in repetition writes a new identity, and that identity commands a new destiny. Knowledge alone won't save you, it's the property of the drifter. Only action gives it life. Tonight, you must act. 7 days of repetition, affirmations spoken morning and night, guarding your tongue from weakness, filling it with purpose. Don't say, I'll begin tomorrow. Tomorrow is the excuse of cowards. Begin now. Take pen and paper. Write your definite chief aim clearly. Write affirmations declaring your new identity as commands, not wishes. Place them where you'll see them daily. Read them aloud with faith, repeat them with fire, until they're burned into your subconscious as law. Affirm, asterisk I claim my destiny. I repeat greatness until I become greatness. I command my mind, and life obeys, asterisk say it until your voice no longer quivers, until your actions align. Carnegie repeated his vision until an empire rose. Edison repeated belief until light shone. Ford repeated his dream until the world rolled on wheels. They commanded themselves daily, and their destinies fulfilled it. This is the secret weapon of every millionaire, words repeated until they become law. Guard your tongue. Refuse to speak weakness, fear, doubt, or excuses. Every word is a seed, plant faith, reap faith. Surround yourself with allies who echo your affirmations. One voice of doubt can poison, but one of faith can strengthen. Form your mastermind, speak affirmations together, repeat them in harmony. Infinite intelligence responds to harmony, bringing ideas, plans, courage greater than your own. Confront fears daily. Name them aloud, speak against them. When poverty whispers, declare, riches are mine. When criticism rises, declare, I obey my aim. When death frightens, declare, I live fully. Repetition defeats fear. Don't expect instant results, seeds take time to grow, but if you persist for 7 days, you'll feel the shift. Once you taste that power, you'll never return to drifting. You'll know the law is true. The next 7 days decide your future. Obey, and you begin a life of purpose, faith, persistence. Refuse, and you remain drifting, chained by fear, buried in mediocrity. The choice is yours. Affirm, asterisk I claim my destiny. I repeat greatness until I become greatness. I command my mind, and life obeys the asterisk speak it daily, live it hourly, let it govern your thoughts, speech, actions. What you repeat, you become. What you become determines what you receive. This is not suggestion or hope, it's law. Destiny bends to repetition. Faith, persistence, identity are forged by repetition. Every millionaire, leader, man of greatness used this weapon. It's in your hands. Use it, and you rise. Neglect it, and you fall. 7 days. Will you obey? Will you discipline yourself to speak affirmations, guard your tongue, persist despite resistance, confront fear with faith, command your subconscious until it accepts your words as law? If you will, riches, confidence, destiny await. Act now. Begin tonight. Write your affirmations, speak them with faith, repeat them without fail for 7 days. Guard your words, surround yourself with faith, confront fear, persist in repetition. This ritual is the secret weapon of every millionaire. The only question is, will you obey? Thank you for staying until the end. You've shown commitment. Most drift away, but you stayed. The next step is simple: don't let this be just inspiration. Apply Hill's teachings daily. Make them part of who you are.